final few hours of freedom are winding down for my next guest, and we mean that literally. Quinay Gross, she asked to turn herself in to federal prison Friday. Gross has been sentenced to 3 years in prison for a crime she committed to help her boyfriend at the time, and she admits that. Let's talk to her. Tell us what happened, which led you down that path to have, you now have to turn yourself in at the end of the week.
It was basically, I got caught up into a relationship that was with a man from like 19 to like 22, 23. And he basically said he's being targeted at and he needed firearms and for me to buy him some firearms. And I did. And then his house was raided in Philadelphia where the firearms were found. And basically he told them that I was the one who bought them, and I did, like, he told them a lot. And then I had a co-defendant who also bought firearms and he testified against me. So yeah, now I'm going to prison for 36 months for straw purchasing.
Wow. And for those who don't realize what straw purchasing is, it's when you buy a weapon or firearm for someone else with your clean background. And you said this boyfriend that I assume you thought you were in love with turned you in, essentially snitched on you.
Yeah.
Not turned you in, but snitched on you.
Yeah, I didn't find out until after he died. I was told, I had the report, I just don't know where I put it, but I was sent a report from Philadelphia. And it was basically saying how there was my firearms were found at his house and he told them where he got them from. And basically he was caught with 2 duffel bags filled of, I don't know, can I say marijuana on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 duffel bags filled with marijuana, $60,000 in handguns. And with that case, it just got swept underneath the rug. Like, even if you were to Google his name, the case doesn't come up. And my lawyer basically brought me in and told me, like, yeah, this is what we found. I was like, well, why are you guys just now showing me this if I was indicted in 2020? And he basically told me he was in like some type of protection from the feds, so they protected his name since he was still in the streets. But since now he's no longer alive, his name doesn't need to be protected. And I was like, that's crazy.
Now, if you don't mind me asking, how did he die?
He was murdered in Southwest Philly. He was gunned down.
And so for those who are wondering, why did he need all of these weapons that he had you go out and purchase?
I honestly don't know. I didn't even think about it at the time because even on my TikTok videos, I said I was very young and very dumb. I was just sitting there trying to show him, like, I'll do whatever it takes for you to love me. So I never really asked. I just did what he asked me to do to show him, like, I'm here for you. But it wasn't really reciprocated.
And did you know at the time that you were breaking a federal law, committing a federal crime?
I didn't know it was a federal crime, but I knew me buying firearms initially for someone that wasn't myself, and what they could use it for, that's illegal to do. So I knew, like, as far as, I didn't know what straw purchasing was. I didn't know, I didn't know what I'm charged with. I had no idea what that is, but I did know what I was doing was wrong.
And are you at a point where you accept your punishment?
Yes.
Obviously you have to go, but have you mentally accepted it? Yes,
100%. It's like, I'm just thankful I got 3 years except for the 6 to 9 years I was looking at. And honestly, it's like, I just want to go and get everything over with so I can move on with my life, because this has been haunting me for a long time. And I'm just like, I kept waiting for the day they knocked on my door to come get me. And it's like, now it finally happened, so I can finally move forward.
And of course, you're going to get it over with, but I'm sure it's tough for you as a mother to leave your children behind.
Yeah.
Who will take care of them for you?
I only have one child. I have a daughter. My sister and her father is going to take care of her. It's the hardest thing right now for me is leaving my daughter. It's like, we've been together forever, like, I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I take care of her and she's used to me. But my sister definitely helps out a lot and her dad helps out a lot too. So, okay, Booby. Is it okay if I?
I'm sure every moment you have with her right now is precious.
We'll continue this conversation after the break. Don't go anywhere. She has a lesson for other young women out there. Welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. We all know hindsight is 2020, especially for my next guest, Quinay Gross. She will be serving 3 years in federal prison for straw purchasing a gun for her boyfriend at the time, meaning if you go out and buy a gun for someone and you shouldn't, then that's a federal crime, which also buying a gun for someone who is not legally allowed to have one. She tells me she regrets making that choice. We talked to her here on The Factor.
For those who may be out there, young women like yourself, who may want to prove their loyalty, their ride or die status with that significant other, with that boyfriend, and put their lives on the line for an individual, what would you tell them after experiencing what you did, where you did that for your boyfriend and then he sold you out to the feds?
I would definitely like to tell them, first of all, be smart. If he can't do it for himself, don't do it for him. And also, if he loved you or cared about you, he would never ask you to do anything illegal or put you in a position where you could lose your freedom or actually be harmed in any way. That's not love. The struggle love that I was raised on, watching my mom and my dad, like, that's not normal. That's not love. And for young women to find themselves and love themselves so they're not out there looking for love in the wrong places like I was.
And what do you think, if you had that good example at home with your mom and dad, what do you think led you down this path to this guy?
Honestly, I feel like I was such a good girl gone bad. It was like I was in college, I played basketball, I ran track, I did everything that I was supposed to do. And then I found like this guy who was rough around the edges, and it's like, I wanted that excitement in my life because I was so bored with being such a good girl. Like I wanted to have the experience of saying, like, I've been with someone who's in the streets, because I've never been in the streets. But I've seen my dad, he tried to like shelter us from that lifestyle, but it was like at the same time, that was our lifestyle. So it definitely starts from home and the environment we grow up in. But it's like our job to break generational curses. Like we can't keep doing the same things we've seen our parents doing, because it's not okay.
Mm-hmm. And so there's something true to the saying that many good girls out there are attracted to the bad boys. It's that excitement you're looking for.
Yes. And like, it's crazy because my whole life went downhill when I met him. It was just like.
And did you see it? Did you have like an outer body experience where you see your life going out of control, but you can't do anything about it because you're in the process and you're stuck?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like I kept seeing it and I'm just like, why am I still here? Why am I still putting up with this? What is going on? I couldn't stop. There was like a thrill or something. Like I was like, I don't know it felt like he was my drug. Like I was just addicted to it. And I couldn't get away from him, even if I tried, because he would find me. Okay, booby. He would find me wherever I went. It wasn't like I'd be like, okay, I'm blocking you. I'm moving. I don't want to be with you. The house I'm in now, he showed up at my front door, and this is years later. So it was like, it's definitely a hard thing to do, or a hard thing to say. Like I wouldn't do it again. No, I wouldn't do it again. I would never do this again. But if I was younger, I might have. But now, no. Yeah.
And if he had survived and was still alive today, do you think you would have found some weakness in you and went back to him if he would have asked you to come back, even knowing that he turned over on you to the feds?
No, I would never go back to him. Even when I was pregnant with my daughter, he would call my phone and beg me to come back. And after I had my daughter, he'd beg me to be with him. I would never. Once I experienced it, I experienced it. I already know I know who he is as a person, and that's like something I can't accept. Like the other females, the abuse, the alcoholism, the pills. It was just too much. I could not accept that. Me as a woman I am today. I do not see myself being able to think, oh yeah, we can be married and have kids like I did when I was 19 years old, 21 years old.
But now you're turning yourself in at the end of the week, 36 months. What's the first thing you're going to do when you get out?
Kiss my daughter, hug my daughter. I'm probably going to cry a lot. I know I'm going to cry when I get in there. I'm going to definitely try to share my story a lot with younger females, like younger, especially younger Black women. I really want them to know, like, if a man loves you, he will never put you in any harm's way. Like, this is not love. And the struggle love that we see, like, off of Power, like Bonnie and Claude and everything, that does not exist. That it's fictional. It's not a good thing that females, especially younger females, think it's okay to be a ride or die or to stand beside a man and he just drags you through the mud and you think, oh, I'm still stand beside him because this is love. It's not. So I'm gonna try my hardest to advocate for younger females to not be in my situation. Don't be in my shoes. Be better than me. Don't be like me. Because this was the worst mistake of my life.
There you go. Renee Gross, thank you for joining us and sharing your story here on The Factor Uncensored. And of course, we wish you and your baby the best.